Hey everybody, and welcome to Disc. Unfortunately, the session recording that we did this Wednesday was completely corrupted by the time I tried to upload it, so I'm just doing a quick voiceover of the slides for everybody else who couldn't make it. Real quick, what is Disc? Well, the main thing we do is we meet once every week, or we try to meet up as many weeks as we can to learn from guest speakers, learn from each other, and hack stuff together. Generally, this sort of started to attempt to fill the massive gap that exists between the skills and knowledge that uni will teach you and what is relevant today and what is actually needed in industry in cybersecurity. Um, and so, we're by no means any like professionals whatsoever. We're just we're students, just like you, just learning from each other and helping each other. So we can't promise that we will give you that, but that's our intention and that's our goal. And again, it's kind of worth noting. I like to tell people who are just starting off in security specifically that it's unless you're going for a pretty non-technical role, and there are a lot of non-technical roles in security. So if you struggle with the technical stuff or you feel like you're just never going to get it, there's still heaps of jobs in security that you can definitely go for. But if you really love the technical stuff, if you're not sure what I mean by technical, you'll find out once you have a go. But if you really, really want to get into the technical sort of area, I could be wrong, and it's just my opinion, but I like to say that it's not, you can't learn everything that you'll need from others teaching you the technical skills. You really need to invest your own personal time into just working through stuff. You need to find stuff that really interests you, find the techniques or the tools, or whether it's penetration testing, externally, internally, network stuff, web applications. Everyone tends to sort of fall into a little bit of a niche, and you really want to find that you want to try everything at first, but you want to find that one thing or smaller subsection of things that really, really interests you, and that way it shouldn't be that difficult to spend a whole weekend just following these rabbit holes and researching and trying all of this new stuff, trying new techniques. And that's really what prepares. That's probably the best way to land a job in industry. That's what employers are sort of looking for. This passion or this genuine interest in certain things. But anyway, we'll go on from here. We've got a Facebook group. I think it's roughly around 600 members strong now, and this isn't just students. It has past students. It has lots of people from industry. It has some recruiters. So people you join the Facebook group so you can get the latest updates about the club, but also you'll see people sharing some of the latest news or some really interesting, cool stuff, some funny stuff, some memes, and occasionally you'll see the odd job opportunity flying around that would probably suit some students. So even if you don't plan on attending the club or joining in on our activities very much, definitely join our online community. And we have our Slack channel as well. So as long as you have a valid Deacon student email, you can join our Slack channel. And just pop over. It is open for any Deacon students, and we have chat channels for anyone talking about anything club related or just talking a bit of shit. There's a CTFs channel for those who want to have a go at some CTFs. So our resident CTF King DLS will always post the ones that interest him, and he'll put up some credentials online, and you should definitely have a go. And if you get stuck or you need a team or anything like that, just shout out in the CTF section and someone will be on. Yeah, we post about the latest events whenever they come across. join our Hack the Box group so you can work together with other people on Hack the Box challenges, or have a chat about stuff that you get really stuck on or you need help with. Yeah, and just the Saiska competition is definitely worth having a quick chat about. If you've never heard of it before, definitely have a Google and look it up and read about it. But real quick, Saiska is essentially it's a 24-hour long capture the flag hacking challenge that every university in Australia is allowed to compete in. You can have 4 teams of 4, so that's up to 16 students competing in each competition from each uni, and it's hosted by the Australian government. So it's one of the highest quality CTFs I've ever seen. It's very in depth. There are a lot of challenges. There are a lot of different categories of challenge. It's a incredible learning experience because not only will you learn a lot on the night, but it kind of forces you to learn as much as you can and practice that CTF and technical training up until the event. You'll meet some incredible people as well. The networking is invaluable. And to just be able to walk into a job interview down the road or talk to potential colleagues or peers and just sort of talk about this experience you had. I competed nationally in this competition. I learned this. These are the difficulties you faced. Just to be able to talk about it is really valuable. And if there's any more info you want, head over to the website below, deaconinfosec.com.au. We've got a link to sign up to the club on this button right here. It only costs $3 per year if you're a DUSA member, or $5 per year if you're not a DUSA member, which to me sounds like an absolute bargain. We prefer if you sign up if you intend to come along to the sessions and join in a lot of our activities, just because it helps us. The money goes straight into the club account, and that helps us fund more stuff down the road, buy more equipment, buy more online services, that kind of thing. So the money that you spend comes straight back to you. We've got links to the Facebook page and the Slack right here. And if you like the idea of Saiska, don't worry if you're just a first year, second year, or third year. It doesn't matter what you know or where you are right now. The most important thing is having a go. And in fact, this year they've introduced a prize for the first place team made up completely of first years. So we want to include everyone from first years to final years. So as long as you're curious, yeah, have a go. You'll find a little bit of info about who we are and why we're doing this in the About section. The sessions page is the best place to go for all the most up-to-date information. So this trimester, this is where the sessions are being run, but this may change. It'll probably be different. Try one next year. And I haven't updated this yet, but this will have the I'll fix the CSS as well, but this will have the updated schedule for the sessions right after this video gets posted. Check out the blog. We will post as much content from the weekly sessions as we can, and any write-ups or any tutorials or anything that we generate ourselves we'll post up here on the blog, just so that anyone that can't make it to the sessions, or anyone that's sort of stuck way too far away from Burwood, cloud students, that kind of thing, can so that you guys don't miss out as well, because that's been something that you guys have been asking about for a long time. But the newest addition is this Getting Started page, which is very, very early days. In fact, it won't even load properly on my laptop. But essentially the idea here is, it'll load fine on yours, but essentially the idea here is to we want to map out a pathway of resources and things to work through, so that will build your sort of foundational technical knowledge at first, and then move on to some more difficult stuff, and then eventually maybe Hack the Box being the goal, to be able to use a platform like Hack the Box and put all of that foundational knowledge to use and work out problems that you have never seen the answer to before, which is Hack the Box is probably some of the closest platform to black box penetration testing, which is just excellent. It'll prepare you for CTFs down the road, and if you can confidently have a go at Hack the Box challenges, you're already miles ahead of any student that's coming out of this degree with nothing but the degree itself. And that'll put you in a really good job for employment down the road, if that's the sort of stuff that you want to work in. So yeah, these sessions will be posted here. So join the Slack channel, and in the study section, there's a pinned post called Weekly Session Recordings, and I'll be posting all of these sessions onto YouTube and setting it so that they're only accessible via this private URL. So we'll post all the private URLs right here as they come, so you can view all of the previous sessions too. Real quick, yep, we've talked about signing up. The hoodies will be open for a couple more days, so it's $60 for an official disc hoodie. If you want to take a look at them, hit that link and you can see what they're going to look like. But we will be closing that very soon, so if you don't see this recording in time, then sorry, but next time let us know if you want one, so we can sort of collect that interest, and once we get enough interest, we can do another round of hoodies. So generally the weekly sessions every Wednesday, when we run them, start at 6 p.m. and go from around 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's a pretty soft time, but generally at the start we try to do something that is accessible to everyone at every level. So this could be a sort of low-level tutorial or walkthrough on. In the past, it was just us or other students presenting something that we've learned that we think is really cool, or something that we've worked out how to use that other people might not know about. But now we're sort of we're trying to get more and more industry guest speakers to come in and talk about something that to cover content that, look, let's be honest, uni just doesn't provide right now. Some of them will come in and run more technical workshops, so you bring along your laptop and they'll really get stuck into some practical stuff, that kind of thing. And then once that session wraps up, we will start the semi-official SciSCA training. So generally all of the people that's competing in this year's SciSCA will stick around, whether it be in the same room or they'll move on to a classroom with some desks that are a bit more suited to it. And they'll just basically work through stuff to prepare for the coming year's SciSCA in October. So that'll be a bit more advanced, but if you're really keen to get stuck in and really spend your time, I don't know, if the idea really appeals to you, then feel free to come along to those sessions as well, and try to follow along with what they're doing. And yeah, that's where the magic happens. So if you have any questions about that, just shout out on Slack or send us an email, and we can definitely fill you in. Yeah, so that last point there at the bottom, that's something to note as well. This stuff is generally pretty hard. If you're starting off, you may feel somewhat overwhelmed by the amount of stuff that there is out there. You'll hear terms that you've never heard before every second day. You know, people will just talk, and it'll sound like people are just talking in another language and you have no idea what's going on. But that's all right. Everybody starts at that point, and that's what other club members are for. That's the other main reason that we want this club to kick on, is because one of the first things that it's valuable to learn is how to ask for help. Don't feel like you're just siloed off in this. Don't feel stupid either. Don't feel like you'll never get this, or it's too much all at once. Just have a Google. The first step is anything that's new, anything you've never heard before, seen before, you don't know what it is, go straight to Google. Google is your friend. I swear something like 95% of hacking is Googling, so get used to Google. And if that doesn't work out for you, or if that just opens up a deeper rabbit hole and you just have more questions than you started with, shout out, message someone on Slack, message the general channel on Slack, ask some questions, and everyone will be more than willing to help you out. And hopefully, further down the road, once you've got more of a handle of this sort of stuff and you start hearing newer students asking you for help about stuff that you've got your head around, we would hope that you would be willing to help them as well. So that's enough of that. The weekly session schedule for this trimester it hasn't been 100% confirmed yet. We're still trying to lock down some of the speakers, and dates might flip around. But this is what we intend to have planned. You'll notice that every last Wednesday of the month, there is a Sec Talks meeting. Now, this isn't a weekly session at Burwood for us. This is when we actually clash with a really good meetup in the city. But so we'll encourage all of you to go to Sec Talks or come along with us to Sec Talks on those weeks. It is in the CBD, so for a lot of people it is pretty far. But I cannot understate the value of listening to some really good talks by people who aren't just students, but people who generally have been working in the industry for years. And these talks can range anywhere from like really easy to grasp, low levels, not low level, but really easy to grasp, not very technical stuff, to very highly technical stuff that even goes way over our heads, and then sort of forces us to all try and learn about that stuff as well. But secondly, the networking is just, the networking is invaluable. Probably the most important thing, if technical knowledge isn't your cup of tea, or whether it is or not, the most important thing for all of us is to start networking immediately. We can't wait until the end of our degree and then graduate and then start networking with people and then start looking for jobs. It's way too late. We should be doing it from the very start. And so Sec Talks would be an excellent opportunity for that. You come along to Sec Talks, you won't just be... It is a pretty shit feeling to come along to these meetups in the city or something. If you're just by yourself, you don't know anyone there, it's really awkward. But Sec Talks will be great because we've got a whole crew of disc people coming down. You'll know some friendly faces. You'll have the opportunity to meet a bunch of new friendly faces. And look, Sec Talks in itself is great. There's some free finger food, free drinks, and then more often than not, there'll be a bar tab at a bar nearby after the Sec Talks to go along and have a chat with some new people over a beer. So, or if you don't drink, that's cool too. Just come along. We'll talk a little bit more about the other sessions that we have planned. The Careers in Cybersecurity session on the 8th of the 8th is going to be a really, really good one to come along to if you're new to this sort of stuff, or if you haven't really thought about what you want to be doing after uni, or if you're not even sure about what the cybersecurity industry looks like. Nigel will be sort of trying to cover a lot of the different avenues that there are for careers in the industry. And since he's done pretty much every security certification under the sun, hopefully he'll be able to link that up and recommend which certifications will be good to do depending on the pathways that most appeal to you. The session in September with Topi and Bash will be great for all of you that love the idea of penetration testing. I think you ask any student in security, what do you want to do when you grow up? And it's generally 9 times out of 10, I want to do pen testing. Now, everyone loves the idea of pen testing because it's ethical hacking. You get to break stuff, you get to hack shit, you get paid to just solve problems and do all sorts of cool stuff. But that's not the entire job. So Topi and Bash are 2 very, very, very experienced pen testers, and they'll be talking about what it looks like being a pen tester. What is a day-to-day life of a pen tester? And all of these will be, you'll have the opportunity to ask any kind of questions and have a chat with them afterwards. And yeah. So if you're new to security, you just started uni, or you don't even study security, but you piqued that curiosity and you've come along to one of these club sessions, what should I start? Check out all of these blogs. Twitter's a great way to follow these things as well, but if you use RSS feeds, or if you just, I don't know how you organize your news sites, but these are some excellent blogs. It'd be great to. You don't have to study everything they've ever posted, but it'd be a great idea to maybe register these feeds somehow, and just start reading articles as they pop up every now and then. If the interest, yeah, if you see an article that pops up and interests you, it's just a good way to start sort of passively building that knowledge by just reading the occasional article and Googling anything that you don't understand. A favorite of mine is the Risky.biz podcast. So that's a weekly podcast. They go through the week's cybersecurity news. The two guys that presented are hilarious, and they just check it out. Head over to Risky.biz and have a listen. Socials, so yeah, there's a Sec Talk Slack as well, which is an excellent resource. There's, I think, over 1,000 people in that. Yeah, if you don't like our Slack, you don't think it's good enough, then check out Sec Talk Slack, because that's not just students, that's like this security professionals from all over Australia, just in a really casual environment. There's also the other uni groups as well. Good luck getting into the Monsec Facebook page, but we work pretty closely with these other unis' cybersecurity clubs to do all sorts of events and get-togethers, and as long as it's not Sasca related, then we're all pretty good friends. There's all of these meetups. Check out, I believe, looking through them, they all look like, yep, they're all free meetups. CTFs, and of course the conferences. So a lot of us will generally be going to some of the main conferences. For example, KiwiCon in November. A bunch of us went to B-Sides Canberra during the year. B-Sides Melbourne will be coming up next January, which will be, no one should miss out on that one. But if you're looking for a group to go with, or you want some buddies to buddy up with because you don't know anyone going, shout it in the Slack. I guarantee someone else will be thinking about going. Yeah, so risky.biz, check out these ones, and this is a very important point. If you haven't seen this, stop what you're doing, give it a download, pirate it or not, and make sure you know it scene for scene, because yeah, you'll know. All right, I think that's mostly enough of me bitching. But now that you sort of know who we are and what we will try to do, where should I start? So that getting started page right here is very early days, but every other day that I have time to add some stuff to it, it'll sort of develop. And of course, most importantly, if you have anything that you've found really useful, any resources or tutorials or stuff that you think that were great for you and you want to share with others, please let someone know. Shout out on Slack or send us an email or something like that. I really want this this one page to be a sort of single resource stop shop for everything, and organized in a way that progresses. So you can start from the top, work your way down, and by the end, you should hopefully know what you're talking about. But Immersive Labs is the best place to start. This is an issue that we've had for the last 2 years, is the setup that's required to use some of these stuff. Often you need to set up a virtual machine. You want to set up a Kali virtual machine, and you'll definitely want to do this down the road, but a lot of people get stuck on this sort of part. If they can't get it to work, it's a pain in the ass. They sort of give up and move on from there. And it's a huge time suck if you've never touched the stuff before, and all you want to do is just get in and start hacking stuff. Well, Immersive Labs is perfect for that. It's free if you use your student email, so definitely have a look. I encourage you to work through every lab that they have on the platform. I personally haven't done many of them, but I've skimmed through them, and a lot of them are really, really good. Especially if you've never touched Linux, then you want to get into the Linux stuff. But essentially, it works a lot like the Deacon NetLab thing. You just hit Start Lab, it'll spin up a virtual private instance for you, 1 or 2 virtual machines on the other end, and it'll sort of hold your hand through the early stages, and then let you Yeah, you'll see. And on this getting started page, we'll have, if you hit the Immersive Labs tab, there'll be a suggested order of things that you want to work through. And if you don't want to do everything on the platform, at the very least, understand all the concepts in those before you move on. Um, if you if you feel like you're pretty confident with what you're doing, and you wanna dig into some really good stuff, create a Hack the Box account. If you head to the hackthebox.eu/invite link, that will bring you to the pre-account creation page. You'll notice that you have to provide an invite code before you create an account. Well, that's because just to create an account on the platform, there's actually a small, short hacking challenge. So find the invite code. Once you find the invite code, which will be different for every person, hit that, and then you'll be able to create an account, and then you'll be able to access the platform. And once you get that far, shoot at DLS a message on Slack or a direct message. Give him your Hack the Box username, and he can add you to the Deacon team, so all of your points can go towards bumping us up the leaderboard as well. Now, right now, there's no in-between that's suggested. Immersive Labs is really good early days stuff to start with. Hack the Box is pretty late game. This is sort of where you want to end up. So our goal over the next trimester will be to try and fill in this middle bit as you guys progress through it as well. So yeah, I guess that's more or less it for now. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Next week we'll be heading over to Sec Talks. So head over to, if you have a look for Sec Talks Melbourne on meetup.com, you'll be able to hit going to the next session if he's posted it yet. He hasn't posted it yet, but soon he'll post it, and you'll have the chance to hit going. And yeah, definitely head up. Don't miss out. So cool. Thanks very much, and hopefully we'll see you around.